boxing,
beats and rhymes.
No one can do it better.
Sandy Ryan is asking for an immediate rematch with Michaela Meyer after being relieved of a WBO welterweight title in New York Saturday gone. After a catalogue of unacceptable events, Sandy was attacked with a can of paint before their fight. She was just leaving her New York hotel to travel to Madison Square Garden on Friday evening when a can of red paint was thrown at her. The NYPD have confirmed they are investigating a number of incidents, including the paint attack, as well as anonymous messages to Ryan's team, leaflets distributed around the city that were defamatory towards Ryan. Ryan believes that Mayer's team was behind the attack, something Mayer has denied, and for someone as mouthy as Michaela to be so muted when being accused of that, well, maybe Top Rank have gagged her from saying too much, so we'll leave that for now. Perhaps Sandy shouldn't have said Michaela was involved, but she was all in her feelings, and understandably. At this stage, it would probably be best to let the police do their job and let her legal people do what they've got to do, and MATCHROOM. But the evidence sounds like it's leading to someone being picked up and arrested. There was a car outside the hotel with the hazard lights on, and the people who came out of the car and attacked Sandy, they've apparently been seen. Michaela, she says, I had no idea. I was shocked. I thought it was terrible. This is what she told Sky Sports. I would never go that far. I know I get a little rough in the build-up, but I would never go that far. The British Boxing Board of Control, they brought the crickets out and have said absolutely nothing. I have my suspicions that Sandy might be caught up in the hatred for a promoter across the pond. However, MATCHROOM have a lot of enemies across there.
These people that did it weren't the smartest, and it's going to be uncovered. And when it does, it's going to be very embarrassing for certain people.
Interesting. I'm using my imagination. Certain people are going to get their whole card pulled on this one, and it could be very embarrassing.
boxing,
Beats and rhymes.
No one can do it better.
Just wanted to check in and say, listen, last week didn't go too well, but mentally, I swear to you, don't feel deflated. See, I look at all the people that I'm inspired by, and of course they've reached amazing heights. And in my life, I still got a chance to reach those heights. It took a blip, but don't stop. Don't stop. I still want to achieve, still want to be inspired. I'm still inspired. So yeah, I just wanted to check in. Let everyone know that I'm doing good. I'm head's in the right place, spirit's in the right place. And yeah, we're going to keep moving and stay inspired, yeah, no matter what. You can learn from me, man. I'm doing it all in front of you people, live and direct. My ups and my downs. So yeah, just wanted to check in and say have a good day, whatever you're doing.
boxing,
Beats and rhymes.
No one can do it better.
Josh Taylor signed to Top Rank in 2020, became undisputed champion in 2021. So in the 4-belt era as well, his time at Top Rank was a success. However, after losing his last two to Jack Catterall last time out, and before that, Teofimo Lopez losing the last of his 4 straps, a WBO strap in the process, I would assume Bob Arum doesn't have much use for Josh right now after losing his last 2. I want to know, did he offer an extension on Josh Taylor's contract? Because apparently the contract's up, and they're talking about him going over to MATCHROOM now. Now, some may argue it's 4 years too late. When Josh Taylor was with the McGuigans, I just done the story on Daniel Kinahan getting done for $9 million for poaching Jojo Diaz from the boxing promoter Moses Heredia. Well, Josh Taylor was one of the fighters that Kinahan and MTK Globals poached from Cyclones Promotions. That's along with Carl Frampton, Chantel Cameron, Lee McGregor. And McGregor was bitter about it. He already had it planned. They were going to co-promote Josh Taylor with MATCHROOM Boxing after he beat Regis Prograis to become a unified champion. But Kinahan landed him in the lap of Bob Arum, who wouldn't let none of his fighters participate in the WBSS tournament that Josh won on a MATCHROOM card. But nevertheless, he signed up the 2 winners of 2 of the WBSS tournaments, Josh Taylor and Nayo Inoue. Josh left to go Top Rank at the time when, after beating Regis Prograis, Josh Taylor's profile in the UK was bubbling. Nice. Josh Taylor should be up there with the names that are spoke about a lot and get a lot of headlines in the United Kingdom. But he's not, despite being a 4-belt undisputed champion. And I understand why Eddie wants to sign him. But does Josh Taylor have the fire anymore? I think a lot of the fire has gone. That fire that made him the fighter he was. Still a very good fighter though. But I see where Eddie Hearn is going with this. He's got the Australian lad, Paro, IBF champion. Richardson Hitchens, highly rated contender. Jack Catterall, highly rated contender. Regis Prograis, he's still thereabouts. He fights Jack Catterall Saturday, October the 26th, over here in Blighty, in Manchester. There's also Dalton Smith, Subriel Matthias. So they're very strong at 140, and I think Eddie Hearn wants to play a bit of keep ball at 140. So there's always challenges for the belts they don't have, and they can make good in-house fights at 140. But I was a little surprised to see Eddie Hearn is keen on signing Josh Taylor. He's 33 now, and he hasn't shined since he beat Juan Carlos Ramirez to become undisputed champion. He hasn't shined. He's won 1 out of his last 3 and hasn't shined in none of them fights. Eddie was talking about rebuilding Josh Taylor. At 33, big up Everything Boxing, he was thinking more along my lines. The fights he could potentially make. I wouldn't agree with Jack Catterall. I wouldn't want to see a third one. But Liam Paro, that's an option. They could feed him to Conor Benn or maybe Boots Ennis at 147. I don't think the Boots Ennis fight would go down too well, but the Conor Benn fight would be more than acceptable, I believe. There's also the Dalton Smith fight, which is a good fight. Let's say Regis was to lose against Jack Catterall. There could be a redemption fight between Regis and Taylor. Their first fight was close. Could have went either way. And I think it would be a popular run-it-back fight.
So we can run it back, it's no problem.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
No one can do it better.
Feldman, clearly this guy is getting paid money by Matchroom Boxing. But it's just blatantly obvious. You know, you think they would get a different judge that fucked up the scoring from Taylor Serrano?
Completely outrageous. At the end of the day, sometimes you've got to teach these people, and then you've got 2 options really. You can chin him or sue him. Yeah, it's actually led me to take it further, and I want an official apology from him. And if he won't, then
I'm going to sue him, is what Eddie Hearn said before the clip cut short. Jake Paul started with the Anthony Joshua Usyk rematch in 2022, which he considered a clear victory for Usyk. But they came up with a split decision for Anthony Joshua, and he's looking at Glenn Feldman's card as evidence that Matchroom paid him off to score for AJ. And then at the MSG, Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano fought to a split decision, which Katie Taylor got. And once again, Glenn Feldman's scorecard was the deciding factor, and now he's convinced that Matchroom are paying Glenn Feldman off. Jake obviously promotes Amanda Serrano. Eddie Hearn didn't take kindly to it, pushing forward to October the 6th where there'll be a hearing. Jake Paul's motion to dismiss has now been denied by the judge. The lawsuit is being filed in New York, where the Katie Taylor-Amanda Serrano fight took place. And Hearn is looking for $100 million. $100 million. Now, maybe Jake doesn't care because he's fighting Mike Tyson in November, and he should be getting a nice bag from that. And there's also the Katie Taylor-Amanda Serrano rematch on the undercard. Well, he better hope Mike turns up because that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Eddie Hearn ain't joking around, and in fairness to Eddie Hearn, he gave Jake the option to apologize, which Jake didn't take. And this is where it's at.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
No one can do it better.
Supreme Court says that your privacy can be invaded. Okay, how much? How much? Well, there's an answer to that, too. This is how much. Big number. Yeah.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
No one can do it better.
Because it's not his fault. No.
If you're putting it towards
no, but nobody said it was his fault.
But you're criticizing him for it.
Okay, so Ilya.
Why are you criticizing someone who's not his fault?
I don't call him.
A fighter, any fighter, doesn't determine who they fight. The promoter picks the fighters for them. Fighters don't have that power that you think they do. It doesn't work like that.
When fighters make it to a certain plateau, they don't.
Fighters, I'll tell you something, they don't control nothing.
Considering Elie Seckbach has been doing YouTube before I have, I believe, and he's operating in America and hasn't heard of the Muhammad Ali Act, where if two fighters want to fight, the promoter has no legal right to stop them from fighting. Ask Leon Muhammad, old school head. Jared Anderson, an American fighter, just like Tank Davis, was given 4 opponents to choose from by Turki Al Sheikh. He could have got Jermaine Franklin, which would have been less money than Martin Bacoli. The other 2 opponents, I don't know who they are. So he had a choice of opponents. And Bob Arum and Top Rank, in Jared's previous fights before getting knocked off by Martin Bacoli, similar practices. He gives his fighters an option of opponents that the fighter will go through with their coach and their team, and they'll select who they're going to fight. Eddie Hearn does the same with Matchroom. Now, maybe the PBC is different, and maybe Ellie knows something I don't. But the whole notion that Tank had to fight Lamont Roach because Al Heyman forced him to do it, and that's literally what Ellie Sekbak is saying, is total bull crap. Bullshit! Now, with the stupid grin on his face and the smug manner that he said what he was saying, he obviously knows a lot about Tank's career. So if he knows that much about Tank's career, fair enough. Tank can't fight nobody he wants to fight because Al Heyman has got his foot on his neck. But don't talk for other fighters. Talk for Tank Davis. Michael Montero points out, Tank fans being desperate for the Loma fight in 2024 is just insane to me. The short selective memories, the double standards, the mental gymnastics. Hey guys, how about one of these fighters? Shakur, Tio, Haney, Sabeda, Paro. These are all fights makeable if the PBC got off their ass and tried to actually do something for the fans. But they have no interest in that. This Tank Davis fan said, if your boy Loma ain't duck, we would have got Tank versus Loma. Yeah, that's true, but it's also countered by this. Look at all these receipts. 2016, Gervonta Davis in no hurry to fight Lomachenko, says Mayweather. 2017, Mayweather, Vasyl Lomachenko will have to wait for Gervonta Davis. 2018, Mayweather says no rush to have Gervonta Davis face Vasyl Lomachenko. 2018. 2019, Gervonta Davis is not rushing into a fight with Vasyl Lomachenko. Lomachenko just got him back in kind, and I don't approve of that. I think fighters should take the fights and not play, you know what I mean? While I don't approve of it, the Lomachenko fans do have the moral high ground on that one, the way Tank ducked him previously. Thinking about it with all the stats in front of me, I may even have rooted for Lomachenko on this one if he didn't blatantly duck Shakur Stevenson before. Fair is fair. People are voicing their disapproval, however, including Gervonta Davis fans. They're saying, I'm taking Tank off my pound-for-pound list until he beats a great fighter. Someone says Tank will never fight this young king or be able to take a picture like this. Points at Devin Haney with his 4 belts. I don't think the Haney fight is on the table, but I do agree that Tank will never take a picture with 4 belts like that because he's simply not going to challenge himself to fight all the rival champions, whether he's at 135 or 140. He didn't do it at 130 either.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
No one can do it better.
When the suggestion is made to Ben Whittaker about a fight with Willie Hutchinson, Willie is 18-2-0 with 13 inside the distance. 26 years of age, actually a year younger than Ben Whittaker, who is 8-0-0 with 5 inside the distance, an Olympic silver medalist. Willie was a very good junior amateur who's made the headlines recently, beating Craig Richards, very good win, and losing a competitive fight, but not a winning fight by any stretch of the imagination against Joshua Boatsi, even though it was a split decision. So he's made a little bit of a name for himself from Riyadh season. Ben Whittaker replied, yeah, why not? I beat him once already, and I'll beat him again. So he's beat him in the amateurs. And on Twitter, a lot of people have responded and said they wouldn't mind seeing it. Yeah, it's a good fight. It's a good fight. Are they both going to showboat? Will one have to take the initiative and knock some of that off and really get stuck in? I mean, this is pro boxing. There's a time and a place for the showboating. Both of these young men need a statement win if this fight is made. I have a feeling Ben is the better conditioned athlete. I have a feeling Willie needs to work on his conditioning so he's not in there looking for one big punch, posing around the ring, dropping his hands and turning his back to his opponent, talking and making odd gestures like that's a flex. I do feel it would be a distance fight because Ben doesn't throw body punches, which will accelerate Willie's lack of conditioning as he showed in the Boazzi fight, he just didn't throw enough punches. And it might not suit Ben's style to all of a sudden become a body puncher, but with Sugar Hill and his reputation in his corner, he should be taking care of the likes of Willie Hutchinson, wherever it's on points, wide decision, or if you can get him out of there and one up Boazzi, yeah, even better. The build up, like everyone is saying, it will be entertaining, and this is the entertainment game as well as the pain game. It will be Willie likely who would have to walk Ben Whittaker down as opposed to the other way around, because Ben's got the range, the length. But Willie's pretty quick himself. He's pretty quick. Got fast hands. So, is it a possibility it could happen next year? We'll see.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
No one can do it better.